Meet George. His colleagues prefer to call him Dr. George. This isn't just any ordinary house cat lounging around in sunbeams. George is the chief feline officer of a veterinary clinic, and he takes his responsibilities very seriously indeed. George's story begins on New Year's Eve, when he was just a tiny 3-month-old stray kitten. His future mom, a veterinarian, discovered him and thought she'd do what any good vet would do: foster him temporarily, get him his shots, and find him a loving home. The plan was simple: bring George to work for socialization and to help him find an adopter. The clinic would be the perfect place for a kitten to meet potential families and get used to being around people. George, however, had different plans entirely. From the moment he set paw in that veterinary clinic, George knew he'd found his calling. This wasn't just a place to hang out while waiting for a forever home. This was his workplace, his domain, his kingdom to rule with an iron but playful paw. George quickly established himself as the unofficial greeter, though his greeting style was rather selective. Some days he'd warmly welcome patients and their humans, charming them with his quirky personalities.
Hi, Georgie.
He's being so nice. Oh, look at this content we're getting.
Other days, he'd decide he was too busy with important cat business to bother with pleasantries. After all, being the head doctor of a clinic is exhausting work. His mom soon realized that George had a particular talent for chaos management, especially when it came to larger dogs. Size meant nothing to this confident feline. If a Great Dane walked through those clinic doors, George would march right up and establish himself as the alpha. His attitude was clear: "I don't care how big you are, I'm the boss here."
No. Paw down. Look at you, self-restraint.
Go say hi.
No.
This bold personality trait caused a few initial concerns. Would George be too disruptive? Could a clinic really function with a cat who thought he outranked everyone, including the actual veterinarians? The staff soon learned that George's confidence wasn't arrogance. It was leadership. When a potential adopter expressed interest in George, his mom agreed to let him have a trial run. George packed his little cat carrier and headed off to what could have been his new home. But within just a couple of hours, his mom realized something crucial. She couldn't stand being away from him. The clinic felt empty without George's presence, and she knew right then that this wasn't just fostering anymore. This was love. So George returned to the clinic, this time as a permanent employee. He wasted no time in making himself at home and establishing the ground rules for his human coworkers. As George himself might say, Step 1, make sure your coworkers respect your authority. Step 2, your coworkers must bring you treats daily. The clinic became George's personal kingdom, and he ruled it with the perfect balance of authority and charm. He claimed free roam over every inch of the facility, from the reception area to the examination rooms. His favorite spot became the surgery suite window, where he'd sit like a supervisor, watching over the procedures with intense concentration. George took his role as a surgical observer very seriously, often attempting to break into the surgery suite itself, presumably to offer his expert feline consultation. George's daily routine became as structured as any human employee's. He'd check on all the patients, making his rounds with the dedication of a seasoned medical professional. His presence had an almost magical effect on the clinic's atmosphere. In a profession that can be emotionally challenging, where difficult decisions and sad outcomes are part of the job, George brought something invaluable: joy. The staff discovered that George had an uncanny ability to sense when someone needed a mood boost. He'd appear at just the right moment, perhaps when a difficult case was weighing heavily on someone's mind, and somehow make everything feel a little bit better. His colleagues often joked that they wouldn't survive without him, that everyone would spiral into a dark depression without their chief feline officer around to lift spirits. But George is not just about work. He knows the importance of work-life balance, and he has strong opinions about taking breaks. When lunchtime rolls around, George makes it clear that this is the best part of his workday. He'd position himself strategically, hoping for treats and attention from his human colleagues. Some days, George would decide he needs a mental health day. He'd give his mom a look that clearly said, "I want to stay home today," and she'd respect his decision to play hooky. After all, even the hardest working chief feline officer deserves a day off now and then. George would often get sudden bursts of energy, racing around the clinic in what cat owners know as zoomies. This gray blur would tear through the halls, leap over furniture, and generally remind everyone that beneath his professional exterior, he's still very much a playful cat. George even proved to be surprisingly tolerant of workspace dress codes. When special occasions call for costumes or themed outfits, George grudgingly complies, though his expression usually suggests he's doing everyone a huge favor by participating in such undignified activities. The transformation from a scared stray kitten to the confident chief feline officer of a veterinary clinic wasn't just remarkable, it was inspirational. George had found his purpose, and more importantly, his forever family had found him. His mom often reflects on how perfectly George fits into their clinic environment. He's not just an addition to the team, he became an essential part of it. Clients would ask about George, staff members would share stories about his latest antics, and everyone who met him seemed to fall under his spell just as completely as his mom had. George's story is a testament to the power of second chances and the magic that happens when the right animal finds the right people at the right time. What started as a temporary fostering situation became a permanent love story, not just between George and his mom, but between George and an entire veterinary practice. In a world where vet professionals face burnout, emotional exhaustion, and the constant weight of caring for sick and injured animals, George provides something irreplaceable. He may be just a cat to some people, but to his clinic family, George is so much more. He's a colleague, a supervisor, a stress reliever, and a source of daily happiness. He's proved that sometimes the best employees are the ones who never applied for the job. They just showed up one day and made themselves indispensable. Every day, George proves that the best medical professionals come in all shapes and sizes, and sometimes they have whiskers, forepaws, and an attitude that says, "I'm in charge here and we're all going to be just fine."